As the demand for cloud services grows, service providers move away from the theory of cloud technologies and towards creating real-world software-centric network platforms that can service their enterprise customers. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and security as a service are just a few of the solutions offerings that network providers can offer. And Paul Upsitnik, Vice President of Service Provider Marketing at Juniper Networks, is here to tell us more about simplifying the cloud for enterprise class customers. And Paul, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks for being here. I didn't mention in the introduction that the title of your session at the TIA 2015 Network of the Future Conference, that's on June 2nd through 4th, by the way, is called Simplifying the Cloud for Enterprise Class Customers. And we'll get to that towards the end of our discussion as far as the description of that session. I want to start this discussion talking about how the cloud allows service providers to create new opportunities for additional revenue generating services.
Yeah, so Abe, the cloud, I think as many of us know, the cloud and technologies around virtualization like SDN and NFV are having an amazing impact on what can be done. And we're seeing a very interesting environment where services and applications are being created ever more rapidly to meet a growing demand for these services. And virtualization is the key to that in many ways. And it gives the service providers the ability to roll out these new services, but roll them out at a cost-effective price point so that the ability to trial new services, to experiment, becomes very real. And then if they are successful, they can scale them up very quickly with the agility driven by the cloud and these virtualization capabilities. But if not, the investment is, or the loss of any investment is more limited because much of what we're talking about can be reused. So it is a very exciting time for some of these new services applications, and some of the areas that we've seen some interesting growth in are things like virtual CPE, like managed services such as security, cloud brokerage services. So it's definitely having a big impact on the service providers that we work with.
Paul, how close are carriers to integrating their networks in the cloud, let's say via technologies like NFV and SDN? Is this actually happening right now?
Well, so yes, it is, but we're also in the very early stages of implementation around virtualization technologies. Service providers are involved in analyzing how to best leverage these capabilities, with some of them starting to deploy commercial services. But the way I view this is that it is a transformational event in our industry, but it's a transformational event that will play out over a number of years to be fully integrated into the networks. But it is happening today.
Paul, security as a service is a new revenue stream for service providers that I mentioned in the introduction. This can invite tremendous opportunities for operators, carriers, service providers, but is this an area that SPs want to take full ownership of?
Definitely. I think this is one of the closest areas that we're seeing in terms of deployment. As I mentioned earlier, virtual CPE, managed security services are areas where service providers are investing significant time and resources in exploring. And not only is there a significant demand here, as more and more of our business and our personal lives migrate to the internet, it becomes that much more critical. But service providers, we feel, are in an ideal opportunity to capitalize on this because of their reputation for reliability, for quality, and being able to architect, deploy, and manage a service in a very highly reliable environment with the quality that customers need for something like a managed security service. We think this is a great opportunity for service providers to capitalize on.
Paul, is there a renewed comfort level, if you will, among service providers in an environment of open source development?
Yeah, so very interesting question there. I think this is an area of evolving abilities for the service providers. Historically, they have not focused there, and they have not driven capabilities and skill sets in that area. And so for many service providers, this is a new framework, and they need to build those skills and the infrastructure to really leverage that more open DevOps, collaborative type of environment. And what we're seeing is that this is happening today. Juniper, we continue to get requests from service providers to help us with the steps that they should take towards network innovation and network virtualization. So, working with them and having been a pioneer in some of these new capabilities like SDN, where Juniper was the first to separate the control and data planes, I think has put us into an interesting position where we can take a lot of our capabilities around network innovation, network transformation, SDN virtualization, and really start to be a trusted advisor to many of our customers.
Paul, can you now tell us more about your session at the TIA 2015 Network of the Future conference? Again, that's on June 2nd through 4th. The title of that session, just for our viewers, is Simplifying the Cloud for Enterprise Class Customers. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to being there, and I think we've got a great panel, and we're really going to look to explore what are those business benefits that service providers can see from the cloud in terms of delivering new services, new capabilities to their enterprise customers. I think the cloud and virtualization has been around for a number of years, but service providers now are at the point where they can truly start to revolutionize what they do and develop some of these new services for their enterprise customers. And I think many of the marketing individuals at the service providers and also many of the enterprise customers are wanting to know, what are those services that I can expect from my service provider, or what are those services I should deploy for my enterprise customer? So I think we're going to have a very exciting, a very interesting conversation.
Paul, it's a pleasure to have you on that panel, and certainly we'll be looking forward to seeing you down in Dallas again for our viewers. TI 2015 Network of the Future Conference is on June 2nd through 4th, so thanks for your time, Paul.
Thank you, Abe.
Thank you, and for more information on how to register for that conference, TIA 2015 Network of the Future, you can go to TIA2015.org. So long.